Walking up at the same time. There we go.
I'm not even camera ready. Let's go.
Oh my, what is that? A football team walking off a coach? That's an absolute outrage, I tell you. Right, hello everyone and welcome back to the Andy Wilkins YouTube channel. Today I wanted to react to this video made by my friends over at Dunmow Town, who released a video of their players getting off the coach at Frinton and Walton for the Essex and Suffolk Border League first round tie. And safe to say, the reactions of it, at the time of me screenshotting it, it had 11 quote tweets, 2 retweets and 49 likes, which is quite brilliant. Now, it's just worth noting here that Dunmow won the game 3-0 in the end, but this video of their players getting off the coach has sparked a lot of attention and somewhat controversy as seen here. It's worth noting to those that don't know, Dunmow play in Division 1 of the Essex and Suffolk Border League, which in itself is basically step 8 of the non-league pyramid and step 12 of the English football pyramid in total. It would take about 12 years for them to get to the Premier League, basically, if they were to have a promotion in every season going, basically. But it's quite clear that Dunmow have higher aspirations of playing in somewhat bigger and somewhat arguably better leagues, and this is somewhat proven with manager Alan Fenn having been around the Isthmian and Essex Senior Leagues alongside the National League at Braintree Town for a short while. So he has definitely got the experience if needed to drive the club up the leagues, should he want to, by all means. It could be seen that their time in the Essex and Suffolk Border League could be only for a few years before they head off into step 6 and beyond of the non-league pyramid, but obviously we shall have to see that. It's worth noting that prior to the season being null and voided by the FA, Dunmow finished their debut season in Division 1 in a respectable 8th place out of 17. Not bad by any means, really, for their first season as a club with only 7 games played, given that they literally were established at the literally in the summer of last year. And this game that they played yesterday against Frinton and Walton, basically it was their first proper competitive game overseen by Alan Fenn and the majority of his new squad, including management team and players. Given he actually arrived at the club in December, and obviously due to lockdown intervening, non-league football hadn't been running until the start of last weekend, basically. But some of the responses to this tweet are a bit ridiculous in mocking the club for it, and also you have some moaning about how the players come off the coach without their face masks on. In fairness though, assistant manager of Dunmow, Kevin Wilkins, no affiliation to me, actually tweeted this in response to someone moaning, which says, "We had masks on for the journey, you don't need them stepping out into the open air. Thank you for being so concerned though," which in fairness is a sound tweet. And it also picked up 4 likes as well at the time of me recording this. Well, like with anything, obviously the video doesn't show the players wearing the face mask in the coach, but I imagine they had their masks on throughout the journey. However, when you're outside, and in this case coming outside from being on a coach, you would take the face mask off. It's like a human instinct whenever you're in a vehicle or building, that whenever you go outside you take your mask off. Whenever I go into any shops, the moment I come outside, I take my mask off. It's natural, it's human. Now, this guy, Tim D, tweeted this in response: "This is class, if you can afford it, why not?" And the thing is, it picked up 3 likes, and also, I agree with it. Like, if you've got the money for coach trips to away games, then do it, in my opinion. As it brings in a bit of extra team bonding, also on the side that the players get to know the players in that sense. Like, even still, like, you can never say no to team bonding by all means. And the thing is, I agree with it. If you've got the money for coach trips to away games, then do it, as it brings in an extra bit of team bonding, players get to know fellow new players, and it also helps liven the mood a bit more than perhaps it would have been had players just been driving up all the way in their various modes of transport. It also turns out that from Dunmow to Frinton it takes 56 minutes, which in a coach probably leads to a good hour, if not more at least, so the players technically have 2 hours of extra bonding time they wouldn't otherwise get when travelling to games. Back in my old days when I was following KMV across the country, I loved coach trips more often than not, as most of the time it was a new place that we were setting off to that I hadn't been to before, and more importantly, the atmosphere was great on the coach itself. I say this as kindly as I can, but the higher you go in non-league, the more common coach trips are for clubs. Like some teams in the Isthmian League, which covers step 3 and 4 of the non-league pyramid, have say 5 or 6 coach journeys a season, whilst some have a lot more and some have a lot less. It does vary on the location of the club really and the league they're in, to that extent. In the National League South, from my own experience at Concord, the only games that didn't involve a coach journey were the ones in Essex, which were Braintree, Chelmsford, Billericay and East Thurrock, when they were all at that level, because they were deemed as local enough, like, to travel to. But that said, they did have a minibus run-in, so if someone couldn't get to the ground from wherever, they could get picked up if worse comes to worse en route. But that being said though, in the National League it's common for every journey to be a coach journey in the league, barring 1 or 2, and as expected they're typically the local derby games. But that said, when you get to leagues 2 and above in the EFL, even the local games are coach journeys for teams, depending on the occasion and all, and the fact that at that level every team is a professional side who are operating on a full-time basis. Whilst I do get that some teams wouldn't dare think of putting on a coach trip at that level that Dunmow are operating at the moment, if you've got the funds to put on a coach for away games, then do it and see if the results come back well, as a result knowing there is a little less pressure on the lads in terms of worrying if they're going to get to the ground on time due to traffic, etc. But I see no real issues with it, and I honestly wish Dunmow all the best for the future. If they want to put on coach trips for their players and management with every away game they do, best of luck to them. I see it as they aren't hurting anyone, so why make a fuss really? It's got to be said, credit is due to them and their media guy, Jake Murphy, who is a good friend of mine, as it's clear he did a good job at getting non-league football Twitter on strings yesterday. He also did a live commentary of the game played yesterday, because at the moment the games are being played apparently behind closed doors, though how on earth you're meant to do that with a park pitch, I've got no clue. Speak to the government about it. They're the ones who have set up this shambolic system. But that said, he did a live commentary of the game played yesterday amongst a host of other good bits and bobs, also done on the Dunmow Twitter account, so it's definitely worth checking out. I will be leaving both his and Dunmow's Twitter accounts in the description below, so you can give them a follow or have a look at the content posted either way. But that is all from me today. Please don't send any hatred out to anyone featured in this video. It's literally just not needed. And also, if you are new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, as I am on the push for 250 subscribers by June, alongside pressing the like button, which gets my video out a bit more. I do hope you have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.